Hammers up, everyone. Towley here. Shadowlands. Castle Nathria. Raid testing week 1 has begun. We got to test 4 awesome bosses. Now, most of this video is going to be us just wiping because we were learning and wiping and learning and wiping. And Lady Inerva Darkvein was one of the bosses that we test out. Lot of issues, graphical issues, tons of shit was happening. But this video is more about like looking at the aesthetic and just how beautiful this raid is. Well, beautiful and dark, if you will. I mean, like this room, for instance, the fight is all about managing these 4 anima containers, each do different abilities. But just look in the background, you see the huge anima containers, and that's the story of Castle Nathria. Basically, Daenerys, or sorry, Denathrius. Is it Denathrius or I think it's Denathrius. Sorry. He, has, kind of bottled up all the anima that's been missing, and that's a big issue with the Shadowlands, is that there's anima missing, people are starving for it, and they're killing each other, and fights are going out, and different houses are fighting each other in Revendreth over it, and there it is, all in Castle Nathria. So but yeah, this fight was pretty gnarly. For tanks, there was an ability called, I think, Hidden Desires. So basically what she does is she roots you in place, right? And then she spawns like a little like vision, like aberration or whatever of herself. And you can see the anima containers on the right side, they're filling up. And as they fill up, every level, there's a level 1, 2, and 3, right? And after that, you have to, it gets progressively worse and worse and worse. So, what was it? Exposed Desires, I think, is the name of the ability. So it roots you in place, then you have to find her little vision, you have to face it, and it has to, like, it goes right through you, but you don't take the full damage. Kind of like Battle of the Zarlor. Remember the second boss with the monk and the fire mage? Then the monk like tosses you up into the air, and then you have to like face the different little monks like hitting you, and if you get hit from, if you don't face it right, then you get the debuff or whatever. It's like the same kind of mechanic. So we were really having trouble with that because it was so hard to see where her like little mirror image was. At one point, I just deleted my entire UI. All I had was just my health bars. I had nothing in the middle just to see it, and it's still hard because there's so much red, right? That's like the kind of like the color of the raid. And everything's red blood, red infusion. Even like if we have any paladins who are using the Venthyr Covenant ability, Ashen Hollow, that big red AoE on the ground, everything is just so distracting. So on the forums, that was like a really huge feedback that we gave Blizzard. Like, for tanks, it was so hard to see that, right? And now every time that the Exposed Desires happens, not only does she spawn and you have to face this boss, it also cleaves up anyone who she runs through. So she could spawn behind you, to the left of you, to the right of you, like, in front of you, wherever. She spawns everywhere. And then we found out that the Exposed Desires was also going on pets. And when the anima container hit level 3, the pets were fucking exploding and killing the raid. And we didn't even know that till after the testing was over, because we only have an hour to test. So so this is one of the bosses we went after. And we were here with, this is a full guild group. So this was about 17 guildies, which is really great. It's been, I don't think I've ever in previous guilds been able to test bosses with almost like, an entire just mythic raid team testing a boss. So we got a lot of good data. We got our logs. We got everything that we needed. Now that Blizzard just has to fix the issues and the bugs. The cool part about this ability is, so you do this Exposed Desires, you get rooted, you have to look at the ad, and you get the debuff. It's a stacking debuff that does an insane amount of shadow damage. It's like it's like about something like 12, 13k per tick. Warp Desires, I believe it's called. I think I just looked at the log there really quick, or the recap. And once the anima container hits level 3, those Warp Desires explode and AoE on the raid. So once the anima container hits level 3, you have to kind of the other tank taunts, you take your Warp Desires, hopefully you still get heals, and you go and you go away from the raid and you drop it off somewhere. But you don't have to do that for the first and second levels of that debuff. But overall, crazy looking boss room. We came in here and I was like, dude, look, and in the back you can even see those anima containers. They're like swinging left and right. Just everything looks so good in this raid. And once again, this isn't a tutorial video. Once we get, normal mode and, testing over the weekends and stuff like that, then we'll probably do a lot more more in-depth reviews of these bosses and more kind of like guides, if you will, on how to, you know, do this boss. So here is Hungering Destroyer. This was actually the first boss we tested. Lady Inerva Darkvein was the second. So Blizzard's first week of testing, I truly believe, is more about stability and server maintenance than it is about us and our abilities and our tuning. Because this entire fight was a shit show. It was just lag. We couldn't even hit our abilities, and this was like this for an hour, to a point where I think Ian sent a message, or someone sent a message through general chat. You know, Blizzard sends little, you know, global messages saying, "Hey, we know the lag's happening. You know, just do what you can right now. We're gonna fix it for the next boss," and they did. But for the meantime, this was a pretty much of a shit show. So I was running Night Fate Covenant ability, which I think is going to be the best for raiding if it stays as is. So right now we run double prop paladin, which is awesome. And the fight itself is basically, yeah, I mean, look at this room. Jesus, I can't even talk about the fight because the room is so fucking cool. My lord. I don't know what he's doing. He's like, I don't know, he's lifting. He's like pumping himself up over there. So basically with the Hungering Destroyer, he does an overwhelm ability, which hits pretty hard. It's like a big physical damage smash. As you can see, that Shield of the Righteous uptime is there. It's doing its thing. But at the same time, all of his auto attacks are leeching. So for every auto attack he does on you, he leeches 4,000 health. So that gets reset when he picks a different target. So pretty much the tanks have to figure out, okay, every like 3 stacks of, I guess it would be called either Hungering Strikes or Growing Hunger. I think it's Hungering Strikes. Pretty much you just want to like taunt when the boss has 3 stacks or 4 or 5. We weren't really paying too much attention because we were just so laggy. The healers couldn't heal us. I mean, we were popping every possible cooldown. You get a debuff on you that makes you drop off this ball on the ground. I think it's called Gluttonous Miasma. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm not. I think that's what it is. I'm not sure. But you see all those balls all around the ground or whatever. If you touch them, you take shadow damage and you get knocked back. But if you have immunities like, you know, bubble taunt, or not bubble taunt, like bubble or spell ward, you can actually use paladin tanks just to, you know, kind of run through them. So yeah, those balls on the ground right there, you literally just run through them. And he does a big AoE as well. But for us tanks, just, you know, keep active mitigation up from overwhelming power, taunt at about 3 to 4 stacks on the boss. And that's pretty much about it. That's Hungering Destroyer. I mean, like I said, we really couldn't test this properly. I think we had a solid chance to kill him had we not encountered lag every 5 seconds. And it wasn't just us. Every guild doing this boss was experiencing just unbearable lag. And people who were running 30 players for the raid, they were even worse off than we were. And we only had, you know, 15, 16, 17 people for testing from our guild. But once this is able to be tested on either Mythic or another heroic run, man, I think it's going to be a fun fight. I think it's going to be pretty good. It's like an introductory fight. I think he's like number 3 or 2 on the list of bosses we have to encounter. And that AoE that he does, that like little wave of energy he splashes out. Here I am trying to, you know, soak in all the balls as much as I can. I got hit by that one. That one hurt pretty much. And yeah, that little wave, I think he targets like 2 or 3 raid members. They have an arrow on their head, and then they just gotta let it go. Now here is a fucking cool looking boss. This is Sludgefist. This is a patchwork style encounter. Both tanks have to stay stacked together as much as possible. It's one of those fights where, you know, he's hitting the main tank for a certain amount, but the secondary tank gets fucking smashed even harder. So it's like a patchwork encounter. Now with this fight, I just fucking died. I didn't know what to do. I was like, oh man, he has to smash a pillar, and I'm like, I kind of panicked, and I'm like, I think I was supposed to go behind the pillar. Yeah, let's do that next time. Let's go behind the pillar. That'll be a better idea. So there's a bunch of other mechanics where he chains people and he does a destructive stomp, and if the stomp is near the pillar, it destroys the pillar. You don't want that, because when he hits the pillar like that, what just happened right now, he actually takes 100% increased damage, but it only works for like 6 or 10 seconds. So that was bugged out, because I think on a journal he was supposed to be vulnerable for about 12 seconds. Even then, for like, it's definitely not doable. At least it wasn't for us with this kind of raid group. I think Limit killed it because, you know, well, they're fucking Limit. But yeah, so I think we'll do better on this next attempt here. And this boss room is pretty cool. But yeah, he's listed as the 8th boss in the raid, which I don't think is pretty accurate. You can see, man, he is fucking smacking the tanks, and it's not like we're not keeping up our active mitigation, right? So he always, I think, targets the main tank with the ability to destroy a pillar, Hateful Gaze. So there I go, finally. And then you can see he's stunned, he's taking more damage. But yeah, I mean, it's a tank smackaroo right here. But, you know, showing the Paladin gameplay, you do see that, you know, our uptime on Shield of the Righteous is just like, it's like 100% now. It's kind of good. We have that, you know, 50-60% damage reduction from armor, physical damage reduction from armor, and it feels pretty nice. I'm not sure if we were on any other tank if it would have really mattered, but anyway. Now, this right here was probably my favorite encounter so far of week 1 Castle Nathria testing. This is the kael'thas encounter. So pretty much we have to heal kael'thas to full. I don't even think it's full. I think it's like 50% or something, or 60, and then we win the encounter. Might be more on Mythic. Kind of like Valithria Dreamwalker 2.0, right? So this first phase is all these vile occultists. They'll start casting, and I think what they do is they drop these essence fonts that you have to use, take it to the pillar where kael'thas is, and heal him. Now, I'm not sure if it was even working. A lot of guilds are reporting it wasn't working, but it's a pretty awesome encounter. I love this room, like the chains, the Venthyr chains channeling from that big statue into kael'thas is like fucking badass. You know, whatever, insert dungeon raid here was merely a setback. Yeah, there you go. I just kept looking at it because it looks so damn good. I was like, there you go. I took screenshots. I was like, I'm taking fucking screenshots, dude. Fuck yeah. So you'll see halfway during our testing, both me and Les, we switched to Blood DKs, and you're gonna see why we switched to Blood DK. But it's about it's just waves and waves of ads. There is a tank ad that you have to take care of. He's pretty fucking brutal. He puts just like a stacking bleed on you, and it just ticks, and it ticks fucking hard. Kind of makes me miss being Alliance temporarily just for like Stone Form and all those other abilities. But if you were Kyrian, you can actually use your Swolken to get rid of those bleeds. But I am Night Fae in this testing. I think right now we were just talking about the fight. But pretty much we did a few things. Like we put our focus on kael'thas. And we can actually use certain abilities on him. Like we heard the Priest Legendary was so broken that like in a matter of seconds he was at 50% healing already. But it's all about controlling the ads, not getting hit by the assassins. The ad that we have to tank, just, you know, kite him around and stack him on top of other ads. Shit, do we even get into any gameplay here? I'm not even... I got a bunch of clips that people got for me. You're probably gonna see more gameplay on my Death Knight than on my Paladin. So we'll just call this the sightseeing part of our video, where you just get to see me on my Paladin. Not really tank anything, but just kind of look at the boss and the beautiful room that it is in. But definitely I want to hear your opinion, man. I want to know what you guys think about this raid and how it looks. I mean, people are comparing it to like, for me, if I had to compare this to any dungeon raid, I would say this is like Blackrook Hold, you know, meets Twilight or something. You know, Blackrook Hold meets Dracula. Or Blackrook Hold meets Castlevania. I mean, look at that. You have like little bodies stuck in those little, I don't know what that even is on the wall. Are real people in there? Or is that just a portrait? You don't even know. It'd be cool if during the fight they just bursted out of there though and started fighting you. Kind of like in Muru. Oh, we about to go. We about to go, boys. No music though. I wish we had music of this raid. I can't wait for it to come out. I'm a huge music junkie now with WoW for like raid music, dungeon music. But yeah, so with the Avenger Shield Legendary, it's so easy now. Just to like, if there's ads like this that are just constantly casting, you could just kind of bring them in every single time. So this part's just like a beginner phase. I think this is just everyone get their containers pretty quick. And you'll see on the ground, people start channeling. I'm actually just healing. I'm flashing a lighting. I lay on hands them, you know. And now you gotta get rid of these guys before they get to them. They're the assassins. The assassins come out, and then there's the big guy. That's our dude that we have to tank. That's the Rockbound Vanquisher. So you can see the sheer amount of bleeds that I'm taking right now. 2 stacks, and my health is just like dipping and dipping and dipping. I'm doing whatever I can to survive, man. I'm horsing away. And what you want to do with that ad is basically you're gonna get like about all these casters in the back of the room come out. You probably just want to take that ad to the back of the room and tank them on top of the casters just to cleave off of them. Big huge cleave fight, by the way. It's really good. But yeah, that bleed is just fucking gnarly. It's a nasty bleed. I did come on my Death Knight later. I don't know if my Death Knight handled it better, but yeah, here's some footage of my DK. That wasn't much Paladin footage, but yeah. But for the bleeds, man, the Death Strike healing was pretty intense for this fight. I'm at 4 stacks right there. The bleed 5 stacks. I mean, there's no way I survive this. I'm popping every cooldown I could possibly think of. I think I still had rune tap there that I could have used, but I mean, I'm just healing myself to full. And I think you have to pretty much take about 2 to 3 stacks, but look at all that disease damage. Oh my god, it's so much damage. The tanks are still alive though. Look at that disease damage. Yeah, I'm using the triple dot legendary, which is basically whenever you put your blood plague up on your enemy, it puts up also the other 2 diseases of the other 2 specs. I think it's super good for damage right now. And a fight like this, you probably want it. You either want that or you want the vampiric blood that's spread, that that's shared with your party. But yeah, man, let me know what you guys think. I just had a great time with this video, and just rewatching just this footage that I'm watching now, and I just want you guys to give your comments on how the raid looks, and maybe a little bit about how the fights are starting to begin or whatnot, because it does look pretty badass, man. Like, these fights do look damn good. I like the mechanics. Not really a big fan of kael'thas in general, but I mean, I guess they had to bring somebody back from the old lore to, I guess, get us hyped. I don't know. Fucking, how many more times are we gonna see this bastard? How many more times do we have to look at this guy? Yeah, there you go. So blood boil. Look at all those diseases. Oh, the grips. The grips are real. Double blood DK for this encounter is going to be broken. It's going to be so goddamn good. Either that or just, one Death Knight, and then you can also get a prop Paladin with the Avenger Shield legendary, and just keep interrupting all the ads later on. But it seems like in this phase it does cap at 30% health, because we weren't able to heal him past 30. So here are all these ads. I'm not sure where do I eventually use grip. I think I use grip once I take the Vanquisher. You kind of get him into the middle position. He's gonna do a little slam marino, and then ads will spawn in the back, and I think that's where I use my grip. And as you can see, all the diseases are going off too. And grip. Yeah, that's fucking nasty. That's fucking nasty. And you can see I'm like 8th on DPS, and that's probably all just disease damage. But anyway, man, thank you all for watching. Leave your comments, man. Subscribe to the channel. Thumbs up this bitch. More videos coming soon. I'm still trying to get out more videos on just legendaries in general, but they just seem to be so tedious because legendaries just keep changing. So what I'm going to be doing soon is making a compilation video for each tank for Mythic Plus, and letting you know which covenant is the best. That's pretty much what I want to do with my next set of videos. So I already did 4 Mythic Plus dungeons on the beta on 4 different paladins, each different covenant, and we're just going to talk about the strengths and weaknesses of each tank in Mythic Plus in a dungeon environment, and which covenants I would rank 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then after I'm done going through all the tanks, then we're just going to have a video where we discuss Mythic Plus here. Was what I think are the most fun and the best tanks to use overall, based on their strongest covenant and toolkit. Anyway, see y'all later. Catch me on the stream, boys. Peace. Degenerates.